Traders, welcome back to the channel, and today we are talking INUV. Now, INUV is a data analytics company that basically markets your brand. So what they do is gather data based on the analytics of your company and the AI revolving people that are searching interest based on your company. Now, I do love INUV, and we've kind of been looking for re-entries on the stock since we got in around a 60 cents, 70 cent range, and then we sold around $1.80. But now we're seeing a pretty big dip and kind of a double bottom. So this might be a great time to add to our positions, and I'm going to show you exactly where I'm looking. Before we get into that content, I need you to do one thing and one thing only. Hit that sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and have the notifications turned on, because we're posting videos every single day regarding the stocks that we are trading here on the channel. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep the video pretty short and to the point. So in the video, I'm going to be covering a few things based on the articles. One, there is some insider trading that's believed to be going on, and this isn't in an illegal type of way. This just means that insiders are rebuying the stock. They're not trading based on news or anything like that. And then the next thing to be covering is the earnings that were just announced. The EPS was negative. Basically, it means they did not turn a profit, but their revenue was in fact up. So that's looking very, very good. And we love to see when their revenue is gradually increasing over time, because it did increase based on the last quarter's revenue as well, gradually increasing over time. This is what we love to see. And I do see them gaining more traction and seeing growth overall compared to the last few quarters. So INUV is set to kind of get bigger and bigger. So the first thing we're gonna look at is the insiders selling on the company. And there has actually been little to none on the company in the past 12 months, which is very positive. When a company believes in themselves, typically they're not selling any proportions of the company. Now, INUV does only own 19% of the company. Outside investors do own a majority of the company, so that is worth noting, but they haven't been selling in the past 12 months, even though their stock has been skyrocketing based on the previous years. This is the main part I want to look at. INUV came out with a quarterly loss of 1 cent per share versus Zach's estimate loss of 2 cents, so they came down -1, so that's not that bad, but it is still negative. This compares to a loss of 2 cents per share a year ago. These figures are adjustable for non-recurring items. And so this is where it gets pretty bullish for me. So this last quarter, they reported earnings of basically 13 million. Last year, they recorded a total earnings of all 4 quarters of 18.2 million. So they basically did 3x of every single one of their quarters for last year in the last quarter number 4 overall. Now, we do know quarter number 4 and 2020 was a very big year for data companies, especially with brand marketing and awareness. So that's what I think INUV really started to branch themselves out and get known overall. This is why I really like them and setting themselves up for massive growth. And that's what we're looking for, is high growth companies in each sector that we're trying to diversify into on our long-term portfolio. So I do really like these guys. The fact that they're skyrocketing in price, that they're getting more well-known, their earnings literally went 3x from any quarter that they had last year. This end of the year shows a lot of promise going into 2021, because I don't think too much is going to change as far as marketing needs and the online presence of companies. The last thing I want to mention, INUV shares have added about 306% since the beginning of the year versus the S&P's 4.1% gain. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to have another 300% year. That is not at all what I'm saying here. Do not get that confused. I do think they have a lot of room to go up. They are still very cheap. $1.40 is about the price right now. So that's why I'm making the video, because we're sitting back at a pretty good price point to get some entries on the stock. Okay, so the first thing I want to point out looking at the chart is, yes, we're holding this overall range down here. We actually didn't even get a touch of that range, which still looks pretty bullish, and I still really like what I'm seeing. And then we're seeing some upward consolidation on the OBV, which is something we always love to see. Even though the stock was trending down, we were still seeing somewhat of a trend down, but it wasn't that hard compared to the overall stock price up here. So overall, I do love to see that, and I think there is some upward momentum definitely focused and coming in the stock chart here. Now, what am I looking at in the short term? These are going to be pretty big areas for to get above the $1.60 and then $1.70 range. Now, getting above those pretty much has me in the consensus that we're going to be finding some new local highs if we can get above those pretty easily and start mounting above those. Now, the things that we're going to want to see on the stock, we're going to want to see the Nasdaq and the SPY start to move upward and not continue this bleeding on the downside. If they continue bleeding down, chances are INUV bleeds down as well. So taking into account that it's moving more predictable with the market, and you kind of want these stocks to start to follow the market and not just have a mind of their own, just pumping and dumping at will, because then you're kind of setting yourself up for real growth of your portfolio. Because once these stocks actually establish a real growth and trending growth, you don't have to worry about these immediate spike downs or crazy news overall. So I really like that with INUV. And then we're also getting a trending on a larger time scale of this range, this $1.40 to like $2 range. So once we start getting a break above this range, back above, there's no telling how high we go. I would probably target the $2.90 to $3 range, maybe a little bit below that if you want to be a little bit conservative. but I do think there is a lot of room for us to run. The earnings weren't that bad. I think that analysts took this maybe the wrong way just based on EPS, and people might have overlooked the company. It is a small cap stock, so anything can really affect it negatively. Just one seller can really kind of bring the stock down. So that's really important to note. But the revenue is what's really important, that it did 3x of what it did of any quarter in the previous year. That's what's extremely bullish for INUV, and I think they have a lot of room for growth. All right, so as we're looking at INUV, these are my overall thoughts and consensus of the stock. I'm a buyer around this $1.40 range. I really do like it. I love these data companies, and I love that they're a marketing based on data and AI company. They're showing a proven track record. They have patents on their software, which is another very big plus for them. So I love INUV. They fit right into my portfolio, so it's an easy add-on for me at this $1.40, $1.30 range. And if they drop down below, I'll just average back in. Now with High Tide and NMGRF, those are really heavy positions that I got into in the beginning, so I'm not adding more right now. With INUV, I've already cleared out my positions, and I'll just slowly start gradually entering in. If we start to dip, it's okay, because I'll keep adding more, because I do believe in the long-term growth of this company. This quarter's earnings and revenue really justified my belief in them. That's gonna wrap this video up, guys. If you got anything out of this, make sure you hit that sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and have the notifications turned on, because I'm posting videos every single day regarding the stocks that I am trading and the stocks that I am finding. If you have any questions, comment down below. That's it, boys. Namaste.